gotten the notification.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Week 2 edition of the Say What You Like Sports Podcast. We made it, man. We made it through Week 1. I didn't think we were even going to get football or real football. No, and definitely not NFL football. And here we are, hoping to get another few weeks in at the very least.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks good, right? I mean, everybody is saying that everything looks good. No player has tested positive for COVID-19 as of yet.
Yeah.
Now they finally played against each other. They traveled, so I think this is the first real speed bump that they have to try to get over. But I mean, I just think the fact that everybody's just so positive about it has really kind of gotten my mind off the COVID and on to the on-field play, which is a good thing.
And let me ask you a question. When you were watching these games, did you really notice a lot of the fans? Did that bother you at all?
Not too much. A little bit during the Cowboys game, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
Not a big thing.
No, you kind of it's football. Football is almost bulletproof, I think.
Yeah,
it really is.
I agree. So we gotta get into our picks from Week 1. I'm looking here, and what do you know, man? Who finishes on top, ranked number 1, 11-5 with my picks. I think you got 11-5 as well.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much tied for first. What did I get? The tiebreaker over you, maybe?
So,
probably
yeah.
Why it's putting me at 1. But yeah, and I think I should get a couple of brown because I did pick the Washington. Pretty damn proud of myself on that one.
They don't exist anymore.
Oh, that's true. The Washington football team. Whatever, exactly. So let's go ahead and recap some of Week 1. You want to pull up Week 1 and let's just go through some of the games.
So we start with the Thursday night game. Kansas City rolling out their Super Bowl banner, hosting the Houston Texans, and I mean Kansas City kind of just rolled them, had their way with them.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes is just at it again. The running game with Edwards, Edwards Clay.
Don't ask me to pronounce that name, but yeah.
They look really wow. I mean, they just look like they're starting right up back from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises there. Houston's offense looked pretty bad, though, without DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's something that I'm going to be looking for later on in the season. Like, how do they adjust on offense? Because not only were they not competitive with the Kansas City Chiefs, but they look flat. Like, there's a difference. Like, they didn't look like the offense had any fight in them.
Yeah, and you wonder how the no preseason games and the shortened off season, how it affected some teams versus others.
Yeah.
This is one where, I don't care how much you practice. When, you're going live, you want your guy there. And, for the first time, Watson didn't have DeAndre Hopkins there. I mean, how many times did we say, man, it would really be nice to have a wide receiver right here?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see what they can do. That division, I still think, is obviously after this week, is still anybody's to win or lose.
Yeah.
So then we have the first game Sunday is Seattle heading to Atlanta, and just they let Russ cook.
Yeah, they sure did. I picked Atlanta in this one. I was just trying to make good on my prediction that they would win that division, and figured I'd started on a good foot, but I didn't. Atlanta's offense was a little inconsistent, but they showed some flashes. I'm not ready to give up on that pick quite yet, but look, Russell Wilson was amazing in that game. I think Seattle played. Jamal Adams played well in that game. I seen him make a few plays. So right now, it's for you as a Niners fan to see Seattle play so well.
Yeah, I want to see how much of it was Seattle versus how much of it was Atlanta. I think a combination of both. Again, you have Russell Wilson who's just dialed in. And, he started like this last year, too. I mean, he was in the MVP discussion last year and kind of faded as time went on. But, at the end of the day, Seattle's just a better team, and I expect them to be in contention all the way through. So, another team that's going to be in contention, the Buffalo Bills just rout the Jets at one point. I mean,
yeah.
At one point, it wasn't even close.
They jumped on them early.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that Adam Gase still has a job at one point during that game.
Yeah.
But
what do you think? Do you think it's still the Buffalo Bills' division to lose, or after seeing New England play with Cam Newton, do you think that, hey, this is going to be a fight?
This is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
I really do, because I feel like at the head coach position and the quarterback position, I have proven winners in Cam and Belichick, and I just need to see Buffalo do it. Buffalo is the better team, but that doesn't always mean you're going to win. But the Jets are a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
You know, I predicted, and I think that you will see a new head coach there. If I was them, I'd be on the phone with the Chiefs OC or the enemy, and you know, looking at what the future is, if it includes Sam Darnold or not. I'm a Sam Darnold fan, but you just can't excuse some of what was going on there. Their team is bereft of talent on the offense. And then we have Chicago coming back and beating Detroit, man, and that.
I lost that game.
So did I.
I took the L on that one,
Both
right on the chin.
Not as bad as Matt Stafford. I mean, it felt like the Lions were in control that whole game up until the end.
They were.
And I don't know.
You saw that. Stafford made like a beautiful pass into double coverage, split defenders right into the palms of DeAndre Swift's hands, and he drops it moving forward into the end zone.
How does that happen? It was literally in his hands.
That's the story of Matt Stafford's career, though, man.
That's fall backwards, and that's
it.
The game.
That's it. It would be game.
You know, he also threw the interception. Sometimes you have to be able to dial it back. That's why I kind of picked them. I don't know. They're just cursed. You know, I really do think something's wrong. They choke up when the time comes, and I just don't think they have the talent. The Bears they don't have the better quarterback, but it looks like they got everything else better. And then you have the Green Bay Packers. Speaking of the NFC North, you have the Green Bay Packers going there and just steamrolling the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, Minnesota tried to make it close halfway through that game, but, I mean, Green Bay almost scored at will. And I think that shocked me. I was really surprised at how easy Green Bay did that, went up and down the field. At one point, Kirk Cousins just showed why he's Kirk Cousins, man. He was like 2 for 2 for like 32 yards in the middle of the second quarter. Not going to get it done against Green Bay. And this looks like this is the Packers division will lose again.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this was more good Green Bay Packers than bad Vikings, though. I mean, you know, the Packers played well. I think on pretty much both sides of the ball. But in specific, I want to really point out that I think Aaron Rodgers looked motivated. That's the scary part. Yeah. He looked like he was ready to prove some people wrong about him. You know, like you draft Jordan Love. You know, everybody's saying how I'm in decline now. You know, I'm getting up there in age. And I think this was one that he wanted to really show his skills and show he hasn't lost much on his fastball.
Yeah, and it's true. You know, and then we go from Green Bay to New England. I mean, New England's showing that, you know, they're not just going to roll over and give this division to Buffalo. I mean, Cam Newton looked great. That offense looks like it's built for him. Looks like he's having fun. That defense still looks good. Now, it was against Miami, and we still don't know what Miami is yet. But at this point, I mean, we can't write off New England even for that division.
No, I mean, what I seen from New England, I think there was a lot of positives to take away from that game. And then, I mean, I think this is something that's been said millions and millions of times over and over again. But I'm just going to go ahead and just say it. Like, you really absolutely cannot doubt a Bill Belichick coach team. No. I mean, we all did. I mean, we all had reasons to.
Yeah, I mean, you get rid of Tom Brady's gone. That defense, you know, half of them are gone.
Hightower, Chung, they all opted out, and yet he still, you know, he still puts them in the W column, man.
Wide receivers are nothing to write home about.
Nothing.
And they just still kind of lock it down. No, they got a test coming up
this
week.
Seattle, that's a really good game. I'm looking forward to that
one. That's a litmus test. That's where we see where both of those teams really are.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about a division-leading Washington football team. They are the only team with a win in that division.
Yeah.
As they went and upset the Philadelphia Eagles at home. I mean, you called this one, so.
I called this one because I did see this part coming. I did see the defensive line of the Washington Redskins dominating a weakened offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, that offensive line's been ravaged with injuries, and they had their way with them. What was it, 8 sacks?
Yeah, 8 sacks.
8 sacks. I mean, you know, Wentz is under duress all game long, and eventually it got to them after going out to that big lead. They were, 17-3 or 17-0?
Yeah,
and they came back, and just the second half, as soon as that defense kicked in, made a couple of plays for that, you know, and you were the one who said, hey, you know, there's some questions in the secondary. But when you're getting 8 sacks, man, you're going to make that secondary look a lot better than they are.
Yeah, some of this I really am starting to question Carson Wentz. And, you know, like the decision-making, you know what kind of defense. After your 4th sack, you should know, okay, I need to get the ball out quicker.
Right.
If you're Doug Peterson, you need to develop things to get the ball out quicker. They were hampered by injuries, but at the same time, you can't excuse them. Their defense kind of wilting. I think that's another thing that kind of shocked me, how bad their defense kind of started to give up.
Yeah.
It's one thing to, you thought that defensive line from the Washington was going to be able to give them trouble, but I did not expect Haskins and that offense to go down the field. I don't know, every single time, felt like in the second half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this
played
division,
a lot better.
Who knows, right?
Right now, I what can I say right now?
We have the Washington team change their name. We got another team that changed their location. The Las Vegas Raiders go in there and beat the Carolina.
So weird to see the LV on the screen,
Yes.
right? I just like, who's that? Oh yeah, that's right. It's the Raiders.
It's the Raiders, and this is a back and forth game.
It was.
It really was a good game. Christian McCaffrey, man, he did what he wanted to do at times, and Carolina showed me that they're gonna put up a fight. You kind of want to see that keep going. At the same time, I mean, Raiders offense can be special.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the big thing was I liked what I saw from Carr. Carr was challenging defenders down the field. He threw a couple of deep balls. He made sure that defense respected the deep ball, and I think that opened up things as the game went along.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what this team would have been if Antonio Brown had a working brain.
Oh, yeah, this offense would be something else.
But I think they got a pretty good guy in Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, who can run. And with Ruggs, he's not just a deep threat. He's a guy who can take a slant and go. He has a pretty good route runner. He's got good hands. And I look at that, they have some talent. If Carr can kind of answer the questions, I mean, they may not finish last. They may contend for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I could see that.
So then you look at, a team that we thought would be contending for a playoff spot versus a team we thought may have the first overall pick, and that's Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Losing to Gardner Minshew ain't going to hear no Trevor Lawrence talk.
No,
about that
no, not right now.
No.
After week 1, the team that took the biggest dive for me, the team that I lost the most faith in, it has to be the Colts.
Yeah.
Has to be the Colts.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack, he's out for the year. The Colts didn't look good at all in this game. I mean, the worst thing was Phillip Rivers, though. Phillip Rivers looked old. Phillip Rivers looked bad. Phillip Rivers threw the pretty much the game-sealing pick. Totally stared down the wideout and just didn't care. He just forced the ball somewhere where he had no business forcing it, and it cost, in my opinion, the more talented team to win. That's no good. That's not why they brought you in.
No, I mean, the good thing is I don't know how many wins it's going to take for that division, but I don't think it's going to be many. However, I'm going to give Jacksonville some credit real quick. That defense looks pretty good. I think their first-round draft pick, E.J. Henderson, that dude's amazing. I think he's got some talent now. Just don't trade him to the Rams in 4 years, and he should be solid. But I think they have some talent. Minshew, man, this is his opportunity because I don't know what's going to happen to him, but whether it's with Jacksonville or another team, I mean, he's got a chance to make a name for himself after being a 6th-round pick. So I'm excited to see. Jacksonville's one of those teams you keep an eye on, to see what's going on. One team I don't want to see anytime soon is the Cleveland Browns. I mean,
Cleveland Browns.
Bad. They
look like complete trash.
They are. Their kicker, I mean, if it wasn't for Monday night, that guy's name would be all over the place.
Gostkowski saved him.
Yeah, and so I watched that game because I was interested to see, and you know what? I'll say this. I watched that game from mostly the first half. They can move the ball. They can run the ball. That is one thing. They can run the ball that well. The problem is that I wonder how much Kevin Stefanski will kind of get greedy about passing the ball. Because when they pass the ball, I don't know. I really don't. Baker has some things, but then he's got a knack for throwing interceptions. OBJ can't catch. I mean, there was a drive where they were going down the field, and it was 3rd and 2, and it literally bounced off his hands. He's running like a curl stop or a drag stop, where he stops, first down, in his hands, just bounces right off his hands.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have to reach for it. He didn't have to adjust his body. Was 3-4 yards ahead of him and just dropped it. And I just don't know what you do with him. I made a prediction on Twitter that I don't know if he's going to be on this team after the trade deadline. They look better when they run the ball. But the story of Jackson looking amazing, taking that next step. Baltimore cementing themselves as one of the powers in the AFC.
So you sure that Beckham's not going to become a 49er anytime soon?
Oh, I hope not. I don't want to trade anything for that. I just don't.
I mean, what would you give up? What's a good deal in your opinion for Odell?
We don't have a 3rd-round pick because we gave that up for Trent Williams. And I'm not giving up a 2nd, and hell I'm not giving up a 1st. So, I mean, you'd have to be down with me giving you like a 4th this year and a 3rd in 2022.
Maybe the washing machine.
Yeah. I would definitely give them one of the washing machines.
Yeah, right.
So another team, we got a battle of rookies, although only one quarterback played, was the LA Chargers heading out to Cincinnati, and the story.
16-13?
Yeah, and I mean, Joe Burrow looked good. I mean, there were times where he looked efficient. I think they had the game won. I believe there was an offensive pass interference that took a touchdown away. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but they look good.
Yeah, they did.
So I mean, Burrow looked like they got something there, and the Chargers I think are just gonna kind of tread water. They're a good team, but I think every Charger fan should really be wanting to see what they have in Justin Herbert, because that's gonna tell you where your franchise is gonna be for the next few years.
But how soon do you want to throw Herbert in? Do you want to really throw him in right now?
No, but I think the next few games, because I mean, as great as we're talking about Burrow, I don't think Cincinnati as a whole is a great team right now. I think defensively, I don't know. So sooner or later, you're gonna have to see. I mean,
they play Kansas City this week. I mean, you don't want to throw Herbert in there.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to put him in a shootout with Mahomes.
So I mean, there's gonna be some games where if they're 1-4, I think you throw Herbert in and you see what you have, because this team's weird because it's really talented, but it's all at the hands of a quarterback too. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that one.
It's a quarterback-driven league, man.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, we got the GOAT Tom Brady debuting in Tampa, taking an ugly out against the New Orleans Saints, and I mean,
I told you.
I mean, yeah, I had the Saints winning this one. It was not good.
No.
And I mean, you watched that one pick that he threw where Mike Evans stopped on the route.
Did you see the sidelines of the New Orleans Saints where Jameis Winston was like, I did that shit last year?
That's gonna have me far cheaper.
Yeah, right, yeah. I don't cost $25 million.
Nah, it took like 18 for that.
Right.
To
do this job. Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady, to me, you could see, I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the most overrated team going into the season. Not that they're not talented, not that they can't get it together, not that they're not going to do some kind of damage this year.
Yeah.
But it just was not going to happen in week 1 against the Saints.
No. And, I mean, that pick six where he threw outside side of the hash and Jack Rabbit's waiting for him, as soon as he let that ball go, I go, that's getting picked.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you watch football for so long. You have an innate ability to see it, and you're like,
know.
That's getting picked, because that's taking way too long to get to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that arm. So, for me, and then you have Sean Payton being all types of petty when they were up, and then he threw that trick play with.
Yeah, I saw that. They're still running trick plays on.
Yeah, just the pettiness.
Did you see Gronk?
Not much, no.
When I saw Gronk running, he looks much thinner.
Yes.
Okay, but he doesn't look any faster. And you know how Gronk always kind of had that like I don't know how to say it, but what's the word? Like lumbering?
Yeah.
Kind of like running, but he still had decent speed for his size. That's what made him amazing, But he doesn't have that. Like, he just looks like a lineman running.
He's getting that Witten factor.
Yeah, it's that he looked very Witten-esque out there.
Yes, and I mean, who knows? There's a lot of games I'm excited to see the rematch for them, because the coach, I'm blanking on his name.
Arians?
Bruce Arians, yeah. He's going to have to file that dirty trick play away. And
he's pissed.
Oh, yeah. So then we had that one. Then we had another upset, and one that just, hurts right in the heart. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals coming back and beating the San Francisco 49ers 24-20. And that loss, it almost was surreal. I didn't realize what I was watching. It was kind of like... It was like the Atlanta game from last year, where you're kind of waiting for them, but you're not sure they're gonna win, and then you're like, well, they're gonna pull it away, and they just couldn't. I mean, we'll talk more about this in the red and blue rivalry, but there's a lot of blame to go around. I just don't think they were ready. I don't think 49er fans took for granted the fact they didn't have any wide receivers.
I'm sure we're gonna be talking a lot more about the 49ers in the red and blue rivalry recaps. But what did you think about Arizona?
Arizona is gonna be tough, because when I remember them last year, they gave the Niners all they could handle.
Yeah. And they made the 49ers tough all the time.
So now you give him DeAndre Hopkins, and he made a difference.
Oh, what did he have, 151 yards or something?
He made a difference, because he was able to convert those third downs, those check downs, those comebacks, all these routes that last year, Murray didn't have.
Right.
So you wonder, we talked about, they were shortened from an off season. They didn't have a training camp. They didn't have preseason games to get on the pace. So you wonder how much better they're going to get, on getting that connection. So they're going to be tough. I mean, we said this is one of the toughest divisions in football.
Kyler Murray looking like a miniature Michael Vick out there,
It really was. It's really hard to get them, and those kind of guys give defenses. But I expect Arizona to give a lot of teams trouble before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I agree.
So we have the Dallas Cowboys helping the Rams open up their new stadium, and they take the loss 20-17. So, I mean...
So Jerry Jones owns both teams, and I have a theory that he was like, yeah, give them that win.
Win.
I wanted them in L.A. I wanted them in SoFi. That's why we're here. We fixed the game. That's what I think.
I mean, I feel like I called this one because everything I said last week was kind of came to fruition. I said that defense was going to struggle. They're still learning. They're still getting together. The loss of Van Der Esch hurts.
Big time.
The loss of...
the fact that Jalen Smith looks like a fucking handicap out there.
Yeah, that's not great. You lose a tight end for the year, apparently, right?
Jarwin.
Jarwin's gone for the
year. That
year.
hurts. I feel so bad for the guy.
I mean,
too. Years after sitting behind Witten and knowing that, you're the man, you're the up-and-coming guy, and then you get your opportunity and you're hurt in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, are these a new version of the Rams? Like, do you think McVay reinvented himself for this game?
I don't know if they reinvented themselves so much, except that they weren't so dependent on Todd Gurley, and I think it showed. Like, it gave him a little more creativity to not have to say, I have to give Todd Gurley, 20 touches.
Yeah.
I think it really kept the Cowboys defense on their toes because they didn't know where the ball was going.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt about their offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I saw too. I felt like they were more multiple, they were more mobile. But like they let Goff run a little bit more, kind of find spots to throw the ball. They look like a pretty good team. They've got a pretty good future. Again, they're in a tough division. And then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New York Giants. Monday Night Football, game 1 of that doubleheader. And they walk away with the win 26-16. And to me, Daniel Jones gonna Daniel Jones.
He did, man.
I don't know what was worse. Daniel Jones taking them on a 16-play drive and then throwing a god-awful interception, or the fact that I don't think they have a real offensive line, because every time they gave the ball to Saquon Barkley, he took loss after, I think he was like 16 carries for negative 11 yards at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrendous.
I think he averaged like barely over half a yard a carry.
They destroyed them when they wanted.
That line's terrible. It's been terrible for years. I think I talked about that in the NFC East predictions. Like, if they would have just hit on a couple of these draft picks or these trades for linemen, this team would be, contending with the Cowboys and the Eagles in the division, but they're not.
No.
And that's why. Their offensive line.
And I mean, they put in a good fight, but at the end of the day, you can't just give up points like that. I mean, I feel like twice they gave up points to the Giants. They killed they killed that 16-play drive ended. That wasn't good, but it is what it is. And the final game is, the second one is the Tennessee Titans beating the Denver Broncos 16-14.
What a game.
In a game of we don't want to. It was like hot potato with the win.
Nobody wants this game.
No. This was who was going to give it up? The kicker or Fangio?
To me, it's Fangio, man. And look, Gostkowski was terrible kicking. He missed an extra point.
Yeah.
On top of 3 missed field goals?
Yes.
But still, it's Fangio. I was saying earlier, if I'm the owner, I fire him.
If you're John Elway?
Yeah. If I'm John Elway, yeah, I fire him. There's no way I can let you coach this team.
No, they look.
That's terrible.
Yeah. You saw some good and some bad on their offense. Drew Lock had some positive plays.
I like Drew Lock now. I'm becoming a Drew Lock fan.
Because he's fearless. He
is. And he's got an arm.
Yes.
He's got an arm.
So I think with time, he's going to get better. I like their offensive weapons. I think Jerry Judy's got to catch the ball. That's what scares me about Jerry Judy. A lot of Niner fans wanted Jerry Judy because he can get separation. And you saw that on the field. He could get separation, but
he was the man they wanted over what you guys got. What Kinlaw?
Yeah, that was the guy. But he drops passes. He dropped passes in Alabama. And he dropped passes now. They had a first down. They had a touch. I think they had a first down. Dropped it. I mean, that could have helped seal the game. So I like the talent they have. I like Luck. I don't know if I trust their offensive coordinator, the one for the Giants, old head coach, Pat Shurmur.
Yeah, Shurmur.
I'm not sure about that, but I do like the talent that they have. Yeah, that was a bad thing by Fangio.
Yeah.
Not good and not a good way to start in a division with Kansas
No,
City.
you can't coach a team like that, man. So that was week 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, week 1 was real cool, but we gotta move forward, eyes forward to week 2. So
Well, especially me, I want to bury week 1 in the desert.
me too. Just you know me.
Yeah. I want to treat it like Joe Pesci Casino and just bury it in the desert, man.
There's a lot of holes out in the desert.
Yep.
Let's see. So let's go to our picks. Let me see. Hit my picks on the Pro Pick'em app. All right, here we go. So we have the Thursday night football game. We have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. I didn't like what I saw out of Cleveland. I thought Cincinnati played Los Angeles pretty tough in that game. Joe Burrow looks like he's going to be a pretty good quarterback. But I think Cleveland's going to bounce back. I'm taking Cleveland in this one.
I was hoping you were going to take Cincinnati because I was going to take Cleveland. It feels like one of those ones where Cleveland's not as bad as they show.
Right.
Right. I don't think they're that bad. I think they're the better team than the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I think they're going to run the ball like crazy. I expect them to play great defense and really slow down the rookie Burrow, and I expect them to walk away with the win.
Yeah, and then looking at the Sunday games, we have the New York Giants at the Chicago Bears. Look, Trubisky, for all the hell we want to give him, he looked pretty decent. I mean, he did struggle in the game, but in the end, he did make a few throws that helped to seal that game. Still, all in all, for as much crap as I talked about the New York Giants, they played what I would consider a very good football team in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they went toe-to-toe up until that back-breaking interception in the red zone from Daniel Jones. So I'm going to say the New York Giants can get it done against a team like Chicago.
Yeah, this is where we're going to switch. I'm going to take Chicago. I think Chicago's at home. I like Chicago's defense. I think they're similarly built to that of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I look at it like you're kind of riding that momentum if you're the Bills. If you're the Bears. You got that comeback win against the Lions. You're hosting a team that's, still trying to learn, trying to get things together. I like the Bears to win a very close, ugly game.
Yeah, I don't think this game's going to be pretty at all. I think I'll give you that prediction. Then the next game. Big game for me. Atlanta at the Dallas Cowboys. As you know, I picked Atlanta to win the NFC South, and I picked Dallas to win the NFC East. So something's got to give.
Yeah. Somebody's about to be 0-2.
Somebody's about to be 0-2. You're damn right about that. Look, this is tough for me. But I gotta. My fandom says go Dallas.
So you don't win that. I'd give you mad props because that's crazy.
My fandom says go Dallas. I think the Dallas defense started to figure it out in the second half. They stopped the Los Angeles Rams. The last 4 drives of the game. So I think there's a little hope that the defense is straightening itself out. Although Atlanta, man, I mean, their offense was nothing to sneeze at, man. They were moving the ball as well.
They went through waves.
Seattle.
There were periods of that game where they were they looked unstoppable, and then they were just they ran into themselves at times. They weren't consistent, like you said. I'm gonna pick Dallas because I think Dallas will control it. I think Zeke looked really well in the game.
He did. He looked good.
I think they'll be able to do that. There's no Aaron Donald on Atlanta to give them trouble.
There is a Takk McKinley.
Yeah, but I'm not.
He's not Aaron
him.
Donald.
No, he's not Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
So I think Dallas kind of wins this one, and I think they win it kind of comfortably. I think they win it by 10 points. I could see them kind of getting a late field goal and turning over Atlanta on a drive to the end of the game.
And then we'll move on to a battle up in the NFC North. We have the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. For me, man, there's no reason for me to think that Detroit can sneak one on Green Bay after what I just said. Aaron Rodgers looks motivated. They played well on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I like Matt Stafford, but the Detroit Lions in the end are the Detroit Lions. Give me Green Bay.
So I looked at this game, right? And I thought to myself, what happened last year? They played them close, and they kind of got robbed. If you remember, they got robbed against Green Bay once, where there was a couple hands to the face that kept Green Bay drives going. They had no business continuing. Who knows what Green Bay's going to look like week 2? Maybe they're full of themselves. It's not going to matter. It's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still he still rules the North, and I'm going to take Green Bay as well. I just think that this game isn't going to be the blowout people think it is.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Matt Stafford plays well against them. I think he's game. Like you said, we both like Matt Stafford. I just wonder if he just needs to get out of that jinxed franchise And
It does.
I got Green Bay winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close winning in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Then the next game, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Look, Jacksonville really impressed me. Like you said, their defense looked really good against the Colts. Tennessee just played a very, very strange Monday night game against the Denver Broncos. But I just still feel like Tennessee is the superior team, and it'll show in the end. So give me Tennessee to pull this one out. But I do think this will be a pretty tough game.
Yeah, some teams feel like they're still going through preseason.
Right,
You know,
right.
and so I think Tennessee's maybe the way they called some of the games, some of the things they did, it felt like a preseason game. But at the end of the day, I just think Ryan Tannehill's not going to make the same mistakes that Phillip Rivers made. He doesn't throw you a lot of picks.
No.
You know, so I really do believe that they're going to run the ball. They're going to play smart. They're going to get Tannehill maybe on the move a little bit, and I think they win this game. Yeah, I got Tennessee as well.
And then we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said earlier, the Colts, to me, were the biggest disappointment in Week 1. Phillip Rivers, which we both thought was the biggest X factor in the NFL in 2020, was very disappointing. Marlon Mack going down. And I really don't think Minnesota played too bad. I think they just ran into a uber-motivated Green Bay Packers team that wanted to really prove something to their fellow NFC North competitor. I think I'm going to go Minnesota in this one.
Yeah, I got Minnesota as well. Indianapolis kind of went into the category. They're going to have to prove it now.
Yeah,
You know, they
right.
really do.
Exactly. They do.
They have to prove it. I think Minnesota is going to be able to run the ball. I look at Minnesota playing well. I mean, I'm waiting for, Minnesota's going to be interesting down the stretch when they get Danielle Hunter back and they're able to use him and Ngakwe.
Right.
I still believe in that defense. He said they just got caught slipping by Aaron Rodgers at just wanting to play at his peak. But at the end of the day, I think Minnesota's the better team. I think they'll walk away with the win.
Then we have a AFC East battle. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Look, Miami played New England pretty tough, but look, all season long, all preseason, we've been talking about how this was Buffalo's division to lose, and I'm going to stick with that. I think I've seen enough from Buffalo jumping on a bad Jets team, but they did what they're supposed to do. I expect Miami to be a little more competitive, but in the end, give me Buffalo over Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. I think that Buffalo's a really good team, and I think when they play teams like this, I think they're going to do well. I think when they play teams like Miami and the Jets, I think they're going to do well. The test will be for them when they play really good teams, when they play the Kansas Cities, when they play New England and teams like that. That's when we'll see what they're made of. But I guess a team like Miami, while I expect it to be kind of close, I still think Buffalo will win this one as well.
And then that brings us to the San Francisco 49ers at the New York Jets. And your team better not blow this one for me. This is the New York Jets.
Yeah.
You lose to Adam Gase and Kyle Shanahan can no longer call himself a genius. I don't want to hear that shit on Twitter anymore if they lose this week.
Yeah, no. They need a big game. I mean, I don't know what was going on with that game. Like I said, we'll talk more about it. We'll focus on this one because I don't want to remember bad things right now. Yeah, the Jets aren't a good team, and I think, San Francisco, we're still worried about Kittle and if he's healthy, and he ended up with like a knee sprain.
He looked like he hyperextended.
Yeah, he took a pretty bad shot. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure, but, I still think they're going to win this game. I think they'll win it fairly easy. I'm not too worried. I mean, it's an NFL game. Anything can happen, but at the end of the day, they are not just better, they're supremely better than the Jets. They should take this win.
I'm with you on that one. Then we have the Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. This one was interesting to me.
Yeah, I realized that one. I thought about it.
I went back and forth for quite a bit on this. What the Rams were able to do to the Cowboys in the first half on offense, keep them off balance with the play action, the bootlegs, it was impressive. You really couldn't tell whether they were running or passing, based on their pre-snap stuff. You couldn't see it before the snap, what they were going to do. You could not tell. Philadelphia got dominated on the offensive line. Again, the LA Rams have Aaron Donald. You know what? In the end, I'm going to go with Aaron Donald over the Philadelphia offensive line. When Carson Wentz is shook, he's not having good games.
No. And, I mean, they have the formula to really give them trouble. I really did kind of go back and forth. They're at home. I think that the Eagles will right the ship. The Eagles, if they lose this one, then they definitely are going to prove it to me. They go with the Colts as far as now I got to
Right.
see, or else I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt anymore.
Right.
I still think they will. I don't know how healthy Miles Sanders is, but I know that their tight ends and everything, they still have, those tight ends are still dynamic.
Yeah.
And I still think they're going to kind of walk away with the win. It'll be close, and what if the Rams win? I wouldn't be shocked.
Right. I'm going to go with the Rams, so you're picking Eagles?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have Denver Broncos at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I liked what I saw from Pittsburgh. They have a lot of playmakers on that defense. They run around, hit you. I mean, Mike Tomlin's always been a defensive-minded coach. I think those are really big positives for Pittsburgh. And then the biggest positive is Big Ben is back. And when it comes to Denver, it seems like they really didn't want to win that game. I mean, Tennessee gave them chance after chance after chance, and they could not take it. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to give them that many chances, so give me Pittsburgh.
I kind of feel this game being similar to the Pittsburgh Giants game on Monday night, where I think you have a quarterback who's going to make some. I like Locke. I think he's going to make some plays, but the better coach, the better defense, the better team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're at home. I think they walk away with the win too. I don't trust young quarterbacks against this defense right now.
Right. And then the next team, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carolina played the Raiders pretty tough. Tampa Bay, they had their struggles, but they're going against an NFC powerhouse in the Saints. But this is the kind of game where I feel like Tom Brady will bounce back. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're not that bad of a team. They're not the team that they showed.
Right.
And Carolina's not New Orleans. No. So I do expect Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay loses this game and they fall 0-2, they're in trouble.
They become suspect.
Yeah,
they become real suspect.
Yep. So I'll take Tampa Bay because I still think they have the talent on both sides of the ball. They have Brady. He'll make those corrections, but at the same time, who knows? We'll find out with Tampa Bay. I still got them to beat Carolina.
Then we have the Washington football team at the Arizona Cardinals. Man, both these teams surprised some people by beating the previous division winners in 2019. Washington's defensive line looked mean, man. Looked really good. Even Dwayne Haskins, as the game progressed, became really efficient as a passer after struggling in the first half. Arizona, man, I mentioned earlier, Kyler Murray looked like a miniature Michael Vick, and they really gave the 49ers all they could handle. This is a tough one. It really is. But in the end, I don't think that Washington is going to be able to stop Arizona for all 4 quarters. I see just 1 or 2 big plays, just 1 or 2 more big plays. They're going to be able to sneak out on that defense and give me Arizona for the win.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona too. I think that Kyler Murray is the type of quarterback that will find holes in that defense, especially in that front 4. I mean, him and Hopkins. I mean, their defense is nothing to sneeze at either with Chandler Jones. When I look at this game, it's going to be a great game. I really do expect some plays back and forth. I do expect them to get sacks. I really do. I do expect Washington to get their plays, their chunk of flesh.
Yeah.
But I think Arizona is just a little, it's their time, I think, at this point.
So that takes us to the later games on the Sunday night. This is Kansas City at the Los Angeles Chargers. Look, LA played a pretty decent game, but again, they were going up against a team that's nowhere near the echelon of Kansas City. I don't think they can keep Kansas City's offense down for 4 quarters. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City's just, until someone beats them, until someone stomps them, it's hard to pick against them. The Chargers, the one weapon that they had to slow him down isn't there.
Are we talking about Derwin James?
Yeah, he's not there. I just don't see it. They've had extra time to prepare. Yeah, give me Kansas City to win this one.
Yeah. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people may want to think it is. I know everybody's going to pick Baltimore, and so am I. But I think Houston's gonna, try to bounce back. They're a tough team, and the only concern I have is that, hey, offensively they look flat. I do think they're gonna come out and play a little better on offense, but it's just not gonna be enough in the end.
Yeah, it's hard. I think that sometimes that's the last image you have of somebody or last image you saw of a team. It's really hard to get out of your head.
Right.
And I mean, Baltimore's defense is still better. So I think a good level better than Kansas City's. Lamar Jackson's going to give them fits. I don't see I don't see Houston really staying in this game. And then one thing I'm interested to see is Deshaun Watson. He didn't have a great game. There were times where he said, we watched that game against Kansas City, where as soon as he rolled out of the pocket, that ball's in his hands. If you're a defender, you're like, oh, well, he's not throwing.
Right.
Now he's trying to run for a yard.
He tucks the ball. Yeah.
He doesn't keep it to throw.
He's not running to throw.
Exactly.
He's running to run.
Exactly. And that's big to me. That's big. So I look at that as something that he needs to correct. I still think he's a great quarterback, but the talent around him, especially in the offense, I don't know if he can keep up with Baltimore. So give me the Ravens.
That takes us to the official Sunday night game, and probably the most interesting game of the week for me as far as these picks go. We have Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots against Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. 60% of the people on the Pro Pick'em app currently are taking Seattle. New England looks tough, man, and it's hard to call a game against Bill Belichick. I'm going to go Seattle, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Seattle. I just feel like Seattle is the more talented team on both sides of the ball. They have Russell Wilson, a quarterback that's known to work magic. I'm sure Belichick has something for him. I'm very sure. This is going to be a tough game, close game. But I think in the end, I just trust Russell Wilson more than I do Cam Newton.
It's going to be interesting. I think that if New England's defense had everybody, I maybe would go New England. Well, I still am going to go New England, but I think I can make
You're going New England, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to be able to run the ball at them. They're not going to try to throw the way the Falcons did. I really do think that New England's going to run the ball. And, you have Cam Newton. I expect some run schemes. I expect him to pound it in. I don't expect them to have Russell Wilson have the ease that he did against Atlanta. I think Belichick's going to be ready for him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's going to play a lot of man. I like Belichick.
But that's dangerous with the running quarterback.
I know. I just think you kind of create that must rush. You kind of slow them down. And at the end of the day, I like New England kind of, this isn't the Seattle of like a decade ago, the 12th man.
No.
And, again, give me New England. I'm going to take Belichick in this one, and I think they're going to win. I'll go 24-21.
Is this with your mind or your heart?
You know what? It's with my head. I really can see that because I look at it like this. Is if they can run the ball on, Seattle, you keep Russell Wilson off the field.
Yeah.
And at the end, that's what you want. You want him off the field. You want Cam Newton to take, you don't want Cam Newton to take a lot of hits, but, if he can run on a power thing and get, convert a 3rd and 3, a 3rd and 2, keep the chains moving, kind of wear out that Seattle defense. That's gonna
I can see that.
And remember something. I think Russell Wilson went like 10 or 12 for 12. He didn't have an incompletion until the middle of the second quarter. I don't expect that from a Belichick defense.
No.
And I expect them to get, to be able to handle that. So, yeah, give me Seattle.
All right.
Give me New England.
You got New England, right. Okay. So, Monday Night Football, to the last game in Week 2, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the New Orleans Saints are going to be without Michael Thomas. He got rolled up on his ankle, maybe a high ankle sprain. He's not playing. I think they've ruled him out at this point. That's a blow. That's a blow, and the way that the Vegas Raiders were playing on offense, really challenging teams. I think this is going to be an interesting contest. But in the end, I mean, look, let's face it. The New Orleans Saints' strength is not on their offense. It is on the defense, and I expect them to take it to the Raiders. I think it'll be a little bit closer of a game than most might think, but give me the New Orleans Saints.
This is where the signing of Emmanuel Sanders is huge.
Yeah.
This is where you have an established established wide receiver who can just eat up yards. I mean, I saw it last year with San Francisco. He's that guy that could take over a game. He can get open. He can do it all. So to have him, it's gonna be tough, but to have him and Cook and Kamara, Sean Payton's gonna want to make Gruden look like they'll have some Taysom Hill plays rolled up around. They'll go for it, and I think that you're gonna look at that defense, like you said, the Saints defense especially. I mean, Cam Jordan, what you will. I feel like this game he's gonna eat. I think as long as you keep him away from the center, I think he's gonna eat. I think he's gonna bother Derek Carr. And I think that's going to be the issue for them. And give me the Saints.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Do you got a score for that? Because I'm going New Orleans 27, Las Vegas 21.
Oh, I think it's going to be more like New Orleans 31.
Really?
Vegas like 20.
Really?
Yeah.
A bigger, wider margin.
Yeah, I do. I beating Carolina is one thing.
Yeah, right.
Beating New Orleans is
a whole other
whether
thing.
They're at home or not.
I agree with that. Well, that's the Week 2 picks. The Week 2 picks are in the book. They are in the Pro Pick'em app. Again, you guys can pick along with us on the Pro Pick'em app. You download it. Join the league. Say what you like. Password is NFL 2020 with no spaces. And you can make your picks alongside. A few people have joined the league, man. I think we're, 9, 10 people strong. So we're just trying to grow this thing week by week. Let's see. Who do we have here on the leaderboard? I'm going to pull up the league for a second. And I mean, you got us. We both finished with 11 games. So we're 1-2. Followed by Bolt Dude SRT8 with 9 wins. Production with 8 wins. Go Birds 91 with 7. And then we have a Wayfair Cabinet with 4. I believe this is Hail to the Redskins with 2.
Yeah.
Polar Pop with 2, and I don't think DC for Life put in the picks, so it's 0. But again, hey, it's a clean slate with Week 2, right? Yep. So hey, who knows what can happen? We'll be back for Week 3, and we'll add them up. So until then, these have been our picks. You ready for some Week 2 action?
Hell yeah.
I'm ready too, and we'll be back to talk about everything that happened in Week 2 on the Week 3 podcast. Peace out, everybody.
45 minutes, huh?